I'm Jared Craig with the Vet Voice, and on behalf of Veterans for America First and Veterans for Trump, we're proud to announce our endorsement of Gregory Howard, who is running for the Georgia State Senate District 7. So, Mr. Howard, thank you for coming on the show, and I want you to speak to the voters in your district. I want you to tell them a little bit about yourself because we want to inform the voters of all their best options. And we believe that you are the best option for District 7, but we need to convince and get your information out to the voters. So please share with your background, your motivation, what brought you to this race, and basically what you're going to do when you win.
My name is Gregory Howard. I'm 7th District State Senate. And my motivation to start in politics started over 20 years ago. If you were a realtor, an attorney, a plumber, an electrician, mortgage banker, we all suffered greatly during that because there was no business closing. That's when I started my serious political activism because as a small business owner, you put your life, you spent 60, 70, 80 hours a week working away from your family, away from everything else, and you live in your bubble, and all of a sudden the bubble got popped. So I decided to get involved, and then I became involved in the local politics, and eventually became chairman of the Gwinnett County GOP. So I served in that few terms, and really started my education in politics seriously. And I've always been a constitutional advocate. So I've been called crazy a lot of times for wanting to defend the Constitution by people in my own party. You're shaking your head. It's true. You know it. And in the meantime, with that, I became an activist for the National Rifle Association. And as I said, in 2008, 2009, I was given the J. Littlefield Award as the #1 volunteer activist in the country by the National Rifle Association Institute for Legislative Action.
That's what we met. We met at an NRA event, a couple of years ago. It's hard to put it all together, but we've ran into a couple. And I want to remind your voters that you've already been an ambassador for Veterans for Trump for a couple of years now.
Proudly. So for all of our veterans out there, I've worked as a volunteer seriously for 4 different veterans family groups. I founded United Military Care. I've sat as national chairman of the board for Operation Not Forgotten. And then I did the Christian-based one, Life Renewed. Sorry about that. And so I've worked on the issues from family issues for our families to one of the groups was specifically targeting PTSD and mental health issues and helping with those. I've learned a lot. I've spent years in those positions on election integrity, came a lot with Paul Nally, Judge Nally.
Oh, yeah.
Countless others. I'm actually on the Selective Service Board for the District 2 for the United States as one of the appeals judges. I was appointed by President Bush. I have served probably 17 years and started off as one of your local board members, and I've worked my way up all the way to being the District 2 judges.
Well, I think what your experience tells me is that you know your constituents, you know how things work, and it seems as though you've got your thumb on the pulse for your district. Now, when you get elected this coming November, you're going to flip the seat red, correct? The current it's a currently blue seat, and when you get that seat and you flip it red, what are you going to do when you get to the Gold Dome to reset our state and put us on the right path?
Well, the goal is to follow Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 2 of the Georgia Constitution. That's my first job, is to follow the Georgia Constitution with that. And then I have issues. We've got crime, a problem with crime growing. It's only going to get worse. We've got gangs. It's happening in Colorado right now.
Right.
We've got to be on watch out there and protecting the right of the citizens to protect themselves. Florida has been a great state for taxation, and we've got to maintain that, try to make it better. As always, education. I've already spoken with Brooks Coleman, if you remember Representative Coleman, and he sat on the Education Committee for Georgia and is chairman for like 22, 24 years. He's already, we've already spoken. He will meet with me at any time to educate me on what I don't know. And we are both very much in line about changes. One thing I want to consider is cutting the ties to the federal government for the federal subsidies and grants that have so many strings attached to them. For our teachers, this means that it would be the elimination of nearly 15 to 20 tests they have to perform each year on the students. It only amounts to about 7% of our budget, of the education budget. But it takes up half of their time administering all of these federal requirements.
Compliance, right.
The administrative burden that is required in the school system is reduced by 50%. And we can concentrate on better pay with that by reducing the amount of administrative burden required. We can focus on getting that money to the teachers because they're undercompensated.
Well, Gregory, I think that you've illustrated one thing, and that you want to empower the states to act independently, the way that we were intended under the federalist system, and somehow, in some regards, to have the state operate in a federal system with the counties operating as a parallel to the states. And that, I think, is going to make some of the people catch their hair on fire, because that 7% there, as you know, I have been very critical of the public school system administration because it's run by educators, not administrators, not business-minded, not policy-minded people, but just advanced. They may have been a kindergarten teacher. But with the strings attached, you're right that it costs more money, it costs more compliance, and most importantly, it costs time, because our children's time is fleeting. Now, I want voters in District 7 to go out and find out more about Gregory Howard's campaign. His website, as you'll see in the tray below, it says GregoryHowardForStateSenate.com.
She is one of the most noted leaders of the left, fighting election integrity, fighting any changes in the school system. She just recently filed a brief to have 3 Republican members of the state election board removed.
Right.
So her goal is to become a member of the squad in D.C., and she wants to be that here. I've worked extensively in the minority community. I've already got the Latino and Hispanic conservatives in course with me since the primary was over. I've got the Vietnamese conservatives. Been working by working with. I didn't pick color or anything. We worked on who was there. Same thing with the military. I got endorsed by the civil rights group, by the founder of Justice League United. I'm the first Republican to help these groups with their issues for nearly a decade. And I'm going to continue that in the state Senate because can't name which one, but it's going to be a surprise, but he's coming out. He's supporting Trump because of all the years of working with them and on justice. Everybody missed one detail about him. He was an Army Ranger. He believes in the U.S. Constitution. So if you want to change that middle ground, which is where I'm working, you've got to be involved in those issues that they relate to.
Right, and willing to call out the sham of the left.
And that started years ago. When I call them, it's a first name basis. I'm not showing up going into the election going, I need your support. They they've got my phone number, and there's a couple of them that are already told me they'll be in my office the day after I sworn in, and because they have things they want me to help, fix. So this is how you make changes that are good for everyone, that benefit everyone, and that's the main thrust of my campaign is that I'm a constitutional conservative. I will not waver on that.
And we thank you for being active. A lot of us that are behind the scenes in some of the cycles, people are unaware how much work's going on. And you to step up, I think it's a noble cause and a noble reason at the right time. Voters in your area are looking for a change. They're looking for solutions to the problems, not to identify the problems and love vibes. That's not what the people want. We're not, I say we not, I don't live in your district, but voters in general are looking for something to work properly. So thank you for stepping up against the nonsense and bringing the people the America First and Georgia First statutes, legislation that will empower the individual and empower the state of Georgia, because that's what we need. So I want all voters in District 7 to make sure that you're registered to vote by October 7th and to get out and vote early by absentee ballot and no later than November 5th. Every legal vote needs to count. And Gregory Howard is the America First candidate for this district. He's the only solution to the problems that your current administration has created for you. And he will represent you with integrity and with a constitutional mindset.
Really need your financial support if you can. We have pulled this race to winnable, and if we lose, we've got to flip this race. Think about it like this: for Mr. Trump, this is one of the most important races in Georgia. If we lose this one and one or two of the others, we lose control of the electoral college for this area, and it will flip it blue.
Well, although you have great endorsements from a lot of organizations, including us, the major endorsement and the most important is the endorsement of every voter. The politics of the front porch. We have very little time left. We want to get the information out. We want to get the conversation started. We want to keep the America First agenda topics at the front end of the reason people vote. So you're doing your part. I'm going to keep doing my part. We won't be strangers. I want to touch base with you after November and celebrate your win, because I really think that your race is very flippable and winnable, and that's a win for all of us in Georgia and, as you put, an indicator for our country.